every time you are around someone who is undecided,
Yeah.
know that you are risking losing someone else who might be decided. Because that time that you're spending with the undecided person
That's
could be the time that
good.
is required for you to meet the person that is decided. That's why it's important for you to be clear
Come on.
with what you
Come
want.
on.
Just as it is okay for them not to want
Just
marriage,
as it's
it is
okay.
equally
Yeah.
okay for you who want it. So
Yes.
nobody is right or wrong. So you don't want it, cool. I want it, cool.
Cool.
I'll go and find somebody else who wants it. You go and
Yes.
find somebody who
It's
doesn't
not
want
to
it.
make he led me on because he was nice to me, he did this, he did that. And those are the things that for us women we gravitate to. You bought me lunch, you got me phone credit, you took me and you gave me a lift, you did this, she is interpreting that as, oh, he likes me. Hi guys, welcome back to Relate Where Hearts Connect. I'm your host, Twilan Kombo, and this is my husband,
Ben and Combo.
Welcome. This is episode 3. How you feeling, babe?
I'm feeling good, babe. Feeling good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Doing this is
we're on a
amazing.
roll.
Yes, we are.
We are on a roll.
Without further ado, we have another important question that we would like to answer today. Would you like to help us with what we're looking at today?
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
We are looking at the question, which is, how do I deal with mixed signals?
How do I deal with
mixed
signals? Would it be worth starting by giving a definition of what mixed signals is so that we're operating based on the same understanding?
So I think this question is mainly from our single audience. I think we've talked a lot about, the married couples in previous episodes, but it was really interesting to be looking at this question because this is really talking about those who are almost still out there looking for or looking to be found. So in terms of definition of mixed signals, this is clearly somebody who is experiencing maybe somebody who they like and they think they like them back, but 1 minute they're playing hot, the next minute they're playing cold. And this individual is pretty much like, what's going on, sis? What's going on, bruh? Because it could be both ways. But I don't know if I'm being biased by saying that most of the times the girls feel like the man is giving mixed signals.
No, I think it's similar.
Sides?
Sometimes a guy will like a girl and will be very clear with what they want, but then the girl is just evasive and not really saying anything, but then they're agreeing to all the dates, let's go out, let's go have ice cream, let's go and do this. But then when you bring up the idea of, hey,
actual commitment,
I like you, why don't we do something? No, let's not bring that up, so let's leave that aside. So that happens on both sides. So the actions and the words are not consistent, so you are acting in line. That's a good definition, as though you like the person, but then in actual sense your words are saying, no, I'm not. Or sometimes you are saying, no, yes, I really want you, but you're unavailable, you're busy, you're giving excuses, I can't come and see you, I come and
I don't think anyone is that busy, honestly.
Yeah, but all this now, this is why
you make time for what you want, really.
This is why now it's important for us to define is to really talk about how someone can deal with mixed signals. So how does one deal with mixed signals from a woman's perspective?
My answer to this, babe, is going to be so straight to the point that we could end this episode as soon as
5 minutes. If we can give all the information within a short period of time, why not?
I feel like I don't even need to drag this one out. And I know last segment I said I don't particularly like it when people throw scriptures at you. But when I saw this question, I just thought, let's not tarry on this. Like, there are some things that are worth tarrying over. And that's Bible language for waiting. The
only reason why I would want to spend a bit more time is as clear or as straightforward as it looks. There's people that really struggle with this.
That's true.
So that's where we are
come in
required, to give a bit more context so that people can see how to deal with their own individual situations that may be unique to them.
I think a lot of this comes down to personality. Mm-hmm. If you have I don't want to say combative personality, mm-hmm. but if you are confident to, and I think you should, I would suggest that you really become confident in asking what it is that you want, aside from personality. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you're asking me, how should a woman, for example, deal with a guy who's giving her mixed signals rather, whether she is combative or not, mm-hmm. and combative, not unnecessarily always in fight mode, but I mean, whether she is a quiet person or a very outspoken person, the question comes down to, what does she really want? Okay. And I think that once she figures that out, mm-hmm. it's halfway the battle won. And I say halfway because sometimes people don't know what they want. So then they take anything that is given. But yes, sorry.
I want to clarify this. When you say that let the person know what they want, is it them knowing what they want or letting the other person know what they want?
It has to start with self.
With self?
Yes.
Because ideally, if you are entertaining all these mixed signals, is it that you're also mixed? Or you're sure that I want a relationship?
Yeah.
But then what I'm getting is I don't know how to interpret, what the other person is giving me.
It could be both, which is why I say it has to start with self, because when you know what it is that you want, and mm-hmm. you have to ask that question, mm-hmm. Aside from whoever it is you've got a crush on, because your crush does not define what it is that you're looking for and hoping for. So, practical example, you are 25, 27, you want to be married in the next 2 years, and you have said, whoever I'm dating next, I think roughly they say 6 to 9 months is long enough for you to know whether you're going to marry somebody or not. You could obviously date, a year, 2 years, whatever you both agree. But really, realistically speaking, in 6 to 9 months, sis, he knows. Bruh, you know. Some people on day one of meeting, okay? Now, if you know what you want as a woman, you want to be married in 2 years' time, any brother that's going to come and start giving you mixed signals, and some of those could include where, oh, yes, I'm pro-marriage, I want to get married, but then I need to do this over here. And anytime you bring up the conversation about settling down in the next 2 years, if it makes him feel uncomfortable, already you're not on the same wavelength. Now, I'm not saying walk away, because you said that in the last episode. It's not sort of an opportunity to be walking away all the time, but it's an opportunity to have that conversation with the person to say, look, this is what I want, and to be brave about, being open to share what it is that you are looking for. However, I would say that share with caution, because there's some people who will, once they know what you want, because they've heard you say it, they will play along because they've heard you say it. Let them be able to obviously figure that out. And this is why I think the most important thing is for a woman to know what she wants before she even starts to share with a potential, because that could change possibly.
Yeah, I would agree with you as well that they need to know what they want and also be able to communicate clearly what they want. So if it's someone that you like, for example, and they're giving you mixed signals, then you have to tell them. your expectations. You know, and I feel that if you've already started giving each other signals, it's okay for you to state what you want. It's like, I like you, but I don't know what's really happening. Are we dating, or are we not? Because sometimes I feel that there's some people who have been told, you know, that there is nothing here, but they still, so they're giving themselves mixed signals where they've been clearly told what the other person's expectation is, but now you're beginning to hope that perhaps they will change, or, you know, it's just not time, it's not this.
There are some times though that people say one thing with their words, like, oh, there's nothing here, but then he comes and he's being all nice. And sometimes the way that us women interpret, you know, the oh, he likes me is very different from maybe how men do that. There are times that I've heard women say, he led me on because he was nice to me, he did this, he did that. And those are the things that for us women we gravitate to. You brought me lunch, you got me phone credit, you took me and you gave me a lift, you did this, she is interpreting that as, oh, you know, he likes me. Whereas you might just be doing it because you're kind, because that's just who you are and you see a need. But for a woman, that's not what that's being communicated. And it doesn't matter if you tell her, no, that's just me. The more you do that, she interprets it as that. So there's that flip side as well, where it's been verbally made clear, but maybe it's the actions that are speaking to her love language.
So there's a mismatch. The words and actions are not matching.
Yes.
Or is it that the person is misconstruing the actions as well to mean something else?
Yes, there could be that. That's another one. That's another option where not option. It's another explanation or scenario. Let's say that's another scenario where somebody is just genuinely being kind and you are misinterpreting their kindness for, he likes me.
So in the particular case, would it be far off to ask if you've seen that maybe they've clearly told you certain things, but they're acting a certain way, to go and find out, to say, no, okay, I know you've said this, but I see you do A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
Does that, what does that mean? And they'll tell you to say, no, that's just who I am. Then you will know that, perhaps that's who they are.
Yes.
Then that way you can, get off the misconception and then get on.
And that's assuming that people are mature enough to have those conversations, because, and maybe mature may not always be the right word in every scenario. These are very difficult conversations to have with somebody who you have a crush on.
It's not always, is it always a crush? Or just someone you like? It doesn't have to be a crush, right?
Well, what is a crush? I thought a crush is when you like someone.
I think crush is a bit different from.
Well, I mean, I thought it's the same thing. You like somebody, you've got a crush on someone. What does Uncle Dictionary Google say? It
says a brief but intense infatuation. So it has more to do with infatuation than it is. That's why. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's that. Are you dating? For some people, dating is commitment with one person. For other people, it's dating the whole floodgates of heaven. But
so anyway, when it comes to infatuation, really, it's about this infatuation, especially with someone who is unattainable.
But your crush could be somebody who is attainable.
Yeah, but then I think it moves from, ideally the goal of.
Okay, well, that's
my crush. So it's like, I like them, but I know I can't date them. I know, they're unavailable. Like sometimes people will have a crush on a movie star, but that's not practical. That's more like a crush.
Yeah, I guess. But then I had a crush on you, and look at us.
Really? But, that's what I was saying. That
but a crush is like, you like somebody. Maybe it's because I'm a cuss. Well,
were you infatuated with me?
I wouldn't say what is infatuation.
Because that's.
I mean, I was like, yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, but then we're talking of intense infatuation is what crushing is. over someone unattainable. So if we're going by
I
definition,
don't think you were unattainable, but I think the feelings were definitely very intense, to the point when you did not communicate during our friendship season, and you went quiet and ghosted me. I thought, what is he playing at? I'm a catch. And then you came back and said you had some family stuff to deal with, which you actually genuinely did. So I understood that. But anyway, going back to
this definition of mixed signals, I think we've established, number one, that it's important for you to know what you want.
Yes.
And number two, be able to communicate what you want with you.
Don't be shy, girlfriend. Don't be shy. Yeah.
Because I sometimes what I see from people is this: there's a false sense of identity that people have. Yeah. And they feel like I can't communicate what I really want because I will look desperate.
Oh.
But you are doing that at the cost of being clear with what you want. So, in other words, you have joined the mixed signal. Because so you're saying, I will not be clear with my messaging.
Right.
Until you are clear with yours.
I love that. That's wholesome.
So it's clear. And for me, I can even give a particular example. There was one time I think I liked this particular girl, and I was very insistent on the fact that I did, right? Mm-hmm. I told them I liked you. So I kept on telling them over and over, like, maybe they'll change their mind, you know. As a guy, you need to be consistent. Mm-hmm. I said it several times, and they kept telling me, no. So I was like, okay, you know what? I think they actually mean it. Mm-hmm. I think they actually mean it. So it was a bit difficult to swallow
the memo.
But I eventually got the memo. I was like, all right, I think this is real. This is real.
I'm sorry. But
now look, the story is not finished. Okay. So then I accepted the reality.
Part 2.
I accepted the reality, but we kept on being friends.
Right.
And I'm thinking, okay, you know what? The truth is, I've been told clearly that it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So the best I could do is be friends.
Right.
So we're friends, and over, like a couple of months later, maybe 5-6 months later, I'd even forgotten about the fact that I even liked them, because now I'm beginning to develop a friendship with them. Now, not even moving on. Like, I've forgotten about that part that, I wanted them. Now I'm enjoying the friendship. It's like, okay, cool, you holler at them, you see each other, you talk
now
and whatnot.
Now she's feeling you.
And now one day she says, hey, concerning that thing. I'm like, what thing? And I don't mean, because sometimes you are bringing out all these things to say, no, what thing, like you're trying to be sarcastic.
Oh, yes.
But in the moment, I was being real. Like, what thing are you talking about now?
Right.
And she tells me, no, I'm saying yes. Yes to what? and I don't mean like it in a bad way. Because at that moment, I've accepted the reality that the person doesn't like me.
Right.
And all they want maybe is a friendship.
Yeah.
So when they're talking about that, I'm confused now, and I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what's happening here. So it's like, no, it's like, you remember you said A, B, C, D. I'm like, yeah, I did. Like,
but that was then.
So I said, okay, and for me it was a bit difficult to process then, because then I transitioned from that mindset to this, because the communication was clear. I said it several times.
Yeah.
And they consistently said, no. And I said, okay, I think there has to be a limit at some point. You can't continue doing the same thing over and over.
And that's the danger. I mean, whoever she is, thank you, sis. I appreciate you.
No, but this is what happens sometimes.
But I think that sometimes those situations come up because, I mean, I wouldn't say that was mixed emotions, mixed signal. I keep saying emotions. I wouldn't say that was mixed signals for her. Mm-hmm. I think it may have been a case where it could be one or two reasons, only she knows. But from a woman's perspective, I know that there are some women who like to play hard to get. And there's a thrill for that always being pursued. Now, that's coming from a different place that may need, looking into. It could be, it could be as simple as maybe that person was previously abandoned. And they had this thing, and I'm not saying that was the situation here, but I'm explaining from a woman's perspective what I have seen. It could be that when somebody loves the thrill of always being pursued, and they reject that person pursuing them because they always want to be
pursued.
Pursued.
But isn't that
what I was going to say, babe? Mm-hmm. What I was going to say is, usually mm-hmm. there's an abandonment issue there.
Is it always the case?
Sometimes, not always, but mm-hmm. sometimes there's an abandonment issue somewhere in mm-hmm. the past mm-hmm. where that hasn't been dealt with. Mm-hmm. And that person may feel like the moment I accept, I'm going to lose this person, and I enjoy their pursuit. So my best solution is to keep saying no so they can keep pursuing me.
Okay.
And then there's that. But then on the other side, it may be just an innocence where that person genuinely saw you as a friend at that time, but now that you had transitioned and you are now your true self, because maybe in your pursuit you're coming on strong and all this kind of stuff. Now you transition, you think, okay, I'm just going to relax, we're just friends. And then this person realizes, actually, you're pretty cool. And they now switch and they begin to like you. And you're thinking, what? This is confusing. So in that case, I wouldn't say that's mixed signals. It would be a case where it's just different seasons where people begin to see different parts and appreciate each other. But like I said, thank you, sis. I appreciate you because he's all mine now.
No, I'm sure there's somebody else's as well. So we praise them for also being, and these are the differences also, because I feel that, not especially when it comes to liking each other, it's important to be clear with communication, because again, I think when the communication is not clear, this is where we are undecided with our decisions, because like I said, for some people, they will not want to declare their interest or to really publicly state that, I like you and I'm willing to get into a relationship with you, because then it will look like, no, they're, a woman must maintain her dignity, her power, her
and
all of that.
It's a lie to say that if you don't articulate what it is that you want that you're not power. Dignified.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden you've lost your dignity. I mean, Naomi said to Ruth, go sit at the feet of Boaz. Yes, she did say, disclaimer, don't stand on tables, announcing your undying love to this man. Mm-hmm. But she still encouraged her to go sit at the feet of Boaz. They had a conversation between the two of them in private. And by the morning, he said, honey, you need to leave before the sun rises. Mm-hmm. To me, that says, I'm not saying pursue the man or I like you. There's women who do that and people get married and all this kind of stuff. That's another story for another day. I genuinely just think, I'm quite traditional like that. I prefer the man to pursue me. But even in Ruth and Boaz's story, she's not pursuing him. She is saying, I'm available, and or maybe even in a way she's actually saying I'm drawn to you, and you see the response, because he says, you could have chosen a younger man, and he counts it a privilege. He welcomes her signals, and when she goes home, Naomi says, don't worry about it. He is not going to rest until he settles the matter. Which brings me to, how do I deal with mixed signals? Mm-hmm. Don't be dealing with, there's nothing to deal with. If the man is not for a woman who's asking this question, if the man is not ready to settle the matter, don't deal with it. You will just get electrocuted. You will get thrown out. You will get abandoned. And this is where, instead of putting the blame on him, figure out what it is that you want. Is it your time to enter your place of rest? Mm-hmm. If it is, then whoever you are dealing with and whoever's signals you accept needs to give you signals suggesting that it will be rest. If it won't, then the only dealings you have with an individual like that is to walk away, I would say. Or at least wait until they're ready.
Wait until
to be certain with what it is that they want. But can you afford to wait? How long will you wait? How long is a piece of string?
Yeah, and I feel that the fact that someone is, especially where they're playing games purely the mixed signals, like the game party,
yeah, because
where it's one thing and because sometimes, like you said, for a guy, they will because they know you like them, they will play to they will play nice for themselves. So they'll still want to get benefits from you, even though they say no, there's nothing between us. But then they still want to touch you, they still want to have sex with you, and you're thinking, okay, maybe if I given into all of this, maybe he'll fall in love with me.
Yeah.
But I feel that as guys, they can we can be selfish. So they can be in it only because they see an opportunity to get pleasure for themselves,
right?
Not because there's anything that
beyond that pleasure. There ain't nothing, and sometimes it's not. It doesn't have to be always sexual, benefit. It could even be, just your company or just being around you. So those are the things to watch out for, because mixed signals doesn't always have to lead to the sexual aspect. And so I think it's important to highlight that, because when somebody's giving you mixed signals and then you say, well, at least he doesn't, at least he values celibacy. He may value celibacy, but is he giving you signs that he will settle the matter? Settling the matter meaning, leading to marriage, having a committed relationship with you that one day leads to marriage. Even if it doesn't lead to marriage, at least he needs to show that he's committed to you, up until at least he says, well, this is not working out, or you say this is not working out and we can't, because not every relationship ends in marriage, but at least there should be an intention.
And there should be clear communication of the intentions, because sometimes again, women will get into a relationship even if they are aware that the person does not intend marriage.
Oh, well, because there's a belief that, I'm going to change her, I'm going to change him.
Yeah. So you're also downplaying your intentions in the hope that eventually you get there. Then when you're not getting there, you end up not going anywhere. So I think, to be clear, number one, be clear with your intentions.
Yeah.
Number two, clearly communicate your intentions.
Yeah.
And take also the response that they give you seriously. Don't delude yourself to try.
If he shows you who he is, trust him.
Yeah, sometimes people will be telling you, but you just don't want to
hear it. Yeah,
so,
I think I've been there, done that, got a t-shirt.
Yeah, so when someone tells you, take it as gospel truth.
Yeah.
And save yourself the embarrassment.
And save yourself the embarrassment.
Yeah.
And also listen to God. There's so many ways God can communicate. I remember, a situation where God is communicating something, and in hindsight, when I look back, I think that was God telling me how this thing gonna go. Mm-hmm. But then instead of taking time to hear what, for example, God speaks to me sometimes in dreams, sometimes quite audibly, or sometimes an impression on my heart. Mm-hmm. But in this occasion, it was consecutive dreams. So rather than thinking, I need to bind this, I need to pray over it, I need to confront the person, maybe take time to say, God, what are you showing me here? Because the signals in real life, in the flesh, might suggest that all is rosy, but actually, however God speaks to you, may be something slightly different.
A strategy maybe I can also give, which I think I developed as I grew older, was I was not ashamed to state my position.
Oh, yes. So yeah, definitely.
If I don't like the person, regardless of what they think of me, I will state it. But what I also did was, on top of that, whatever response I get, even if they're not serious about it, I will take them seriously. Because then it saves me time to go. Because if you are not sure, so if you're telling me yes, but you mean no, then I'm going to be wasting my time by the time we're discovering whether it was a real yes or a real no, it's going to be a waste of time. So take whatever the person is giving you as truth.
Gospel.
Take them by their word.
Yeah.
If anything, if they tell you no, go with the no. That way it will help you make decisions quicker, as opposed to waiting for someone who is not clear.
Where were you all my life
with their decisions? But it all takes a while, because sometimes
it does,
you get tired of all these mixed signals and whatnot. So you in the end you create this strategy to say, okay, you know what, I am going to state my truth. I will unashamedly. Whatever you think of me, whether you think I'm degraded because I'm saying what I'm saying, but I will be clear with what I want. If you tell me that you are not ready, I will take it as you are not ready. If you are, and you haven't communicated that to me, I'm not going to bother myself on what you have not told me. I will take it based off what you've told me. Then I'll make a decision. If you see that I go and you want to change your mind, yes, then come and communicate that. But what I'm not going to do is to now be to deduce or to decode
to dream to
decode the message. It's like it's
discern.
Encryption.
Yeah. It's an encrypted message. You gotta crack it, hack it.
That requires a password and all these nuances.
Ain't nobody got time for that. I remember actually when you asked me, what do you want? Mm-hmm. And at the time you were asking me that, I had gotten quite used to people saying how I was coming across desperate for marriage. Mm-hmm. And I remember on that call, I remember it like yesterday, I thought, do I really say what it is that I want? Because I've been told this is desperation, or do I just like play it out? Mm-hmm. And I just remember thinking, you know what? I done come from a relationship that ain't like, I felt like, okay, that was like long. Mm-hmm. So I don't want that situation. I don't even want to get in this with him if it's going to end up the same way. Yeah. And I remember saying, I want to get married. Yeah. And at the time, I remember we were all leaders in Thirsty Bible Group, and I was already, this is the level I had gotten to, ladies. I had been planning to attend wedding dress making classes because I wanted to make my own wedding dress, to sew my own wedding dress. And Thirsty Bible Group, all the leaders used to share the calendar. And in the calendar, everyone had access. And I remember at the time, like Lole said, oh yeah, I used to see it. Or I would put things that I dream of, like wanting to buy a Range Rover. And I would put, I think I had a test drive, crazy faith stuff, can't afford a Range Rover, but I was going to test drive one, and I put it in the diary, set a date, and the wedding class lessons, they were costing about £1,000 then, and I was like, I don't have the funds to pay for this, but the date is coming, and I think it was in September, the year before, or we actually started talking. And I just remember you asking me, what do you want? Not knowing that actually you had even been seeing these pop-ups about wedding dresses stuff until we spoke about it later. And that, I mean, this is an extreme example, but imagine if I had then said, oh, I just don't want, I'm not sure, then that would be considered a mixed signal.
Yeah, because even
you have previewed to that information, and then you think, well, her actions don't line up.
I wasn't even going to judge you based on that. I was going to judge you based on
because what I had said.
Now I'm coming with the frame of, I'm clear with what I want, and I'm going to ask you what you want. And see whether I can meet what you want and you can meet what I want. So ideally, if you tell me this is what you want, then I'm going to look at it and say whether I can fulfill that or I can't. Whether I can meet that or
That's
not.
Good.
So when you told me, okay, I want to get married, and I'm thinking, okay, what do I want? Out of this. I think I do want to get married if I, when I'm sure of the person that I want. And I think I was pretty sure after observing you and seeing your, like I said, how you behaved even in your, your personal space. So I could see that you carry the values and the principles that I value as well. And
I think that's the importance of knowing what you want. Because when you know what you want, when people tell you you are desperate for marriage, but you know that desperate times call for desperate measures, and the desperate measure is to just be you. in that moment. It's not about now faking it to suit this, persona that others perceive you should be.
And
because there's a lot of people who want to get married, but they downplay it so much. And imagine now they get another brother version of you who's watching, and then all they hear is, nah, even whenever it happens, meanwhile, you're getting older. Just say what it is. And you're frustrated.
You're
just
thinking
say
he's not asking. He's not asking.
Because you've been saying that.
Yeah. And ideally, unless the goal of your relationship was not marriage, it's okay to ask when this thing is going to happen, because
I mean, I had a phrase.
You clearly started with the intention of not getting married, then yes, if you start asking, it will look otherwise.
Well, I don't even think we're talking to that audience, because we're talking to the audience, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I had a phrase when I was single: I don't date to dump. I date to get married. So anybody who I dated was a potential husband. But that's where I believe that not all relationships end up in marriage. Yes, you don't have to test drive, and I'm not talking about having sex before marriage. You don't have to test drive relationships. You can ask God, is this for me? I also used to be of the thought that there's only one person for one and all this kind of stuff. But sometimes, if the person doesn't want to marry you, does that mean that you would never ever get married again because God intended just that one person? No, and that's where my perspective there has changed, because there's if you said, what do you want, and I say I want to get married, and you want to get married, that doesn't also mean that you were ready to marry me. You could have seen me and thought, oh, I don't like that about her or whatever, and decided to marry.
Decision,
yeah. So I just think that when it comes to this mixed signals, I think we're giving too much grace where it's not even a question of grace being needed. It's just a little bit of knowing who you are, being comfortable in your own skin. When people say you are desperate, it's okay.
And that's why, even when you communicated the fact that you wanted to get married, right? I think I remember, if correctly, to say, no, okay, you know what, let's ask each other all the questions that we want to ask, and afterwards let's go away for, was it 2 weeks?
Yeah, we went away for 2 weeks
before giving each other an answer, so that you can really process to say, okay, this person wants A, B, C, D. So is what I want aligned with hers? Am I okay to do this and whatnot? So that then you are, and I think it was also helpful to get the needed information that you need to make a decision.
Yes, yeah.
Because I'm asking, okay, do you have A, B, C, D, your financial situation, what's going on?
Yeah.
Do you have any, A, B, C, D, what's going on here, there? Yeah. Okay, what's your notion of marriage, of love, or whatnot?
That was the first time I'd ever been in a relationship that it was that, like logical, like with let's put emotion aside, because clearly we both like each other, we're both attracted to each other, but let's go away and think about these real questions. And interestingly enough, especially when it came to finances, that came up in our premarital, but it was such an easy conversation to have because we deliberately took time away to think about it ourselves,
Yeah. So this is I think one thing to take away from anyone who is,
and sorry babe, just to say, even finances, 4 years into marriage, 4 years into marriage, we are still talking about finances, planning around finances. I think 10-15 years from now, 20 years, we'll still be talking about it. So those are progressive conversations. So if it's going to be a progressive conversation that you will have with whoever you end up marrying, at least start being honest about it from the get-go so that it becomes easier. I just think that that's a good place to start.
And it's also, I think, crucial, as you are stating your intentions with a person, that you are also real to the other person, because sometimes I think, like you alluded, you are playing to their likes. If they say I'm not ready for marriage or things, so even you start acting like you're not ready for marriage, and yet you are. And also just be yourself, to give them chance to decide whether they actually like you.
Yeah.
So if I've been myself, and you're still unsure whether to be with me,
then there's nothing more I can offer you.
Because I think
gotta go.
I've been in situations where someone thinks of me in a certain way, that maybe you have this or have that or this and that. So, and you openly state to say, no, this is who I am.
Yes.
This is what I have. This is what I don't have.
You're right.
Then I've had people clearly make their choice and walk away. And I've got nothing against that.
Right.
It's like you've made your choice based on the information I've provided you, which is true.
Yeah.
At that particular moment. And I think it helps them to also make a decision.
I think one thing we need to even dive into before we conclude on this is especially about the things you have, the things that you don't have, especially in the area of finances. Because money is a big thing, as we've alluded to before.
As well.
Yeah, status and all this kind of stuff. Money can become your god. Viola Davis says that she was... her credit score was very poor when she met her husband, and they joke about it. And he's like, oh, I knew. Like he knew. But look at her now and look at them now. Yeah. And sometimes we are so afraid to be real about some of these things that, you don't want to talk about them. And then actually when you end up in marriage with somebody, you find out, or they've got so much debt, or they haven't got a penny.
Or they were giving you a picture which is not real.
Yeah,
because
they're
as
driving
guys,
this car, they're doing
we want
this,
to come out like, I've got it, and yet maybe some of the things that I have around me are not even mine. I'm just using them.
They just
but it's helping.
They're alone.
And for you as a woman, you're looking at their life and looking at everything around them, and you're trying to assess and make a decision based on all of that. And if some of the things that they have are not real, so you're making a decision based on
what's not even
false reality
existing.
And that's why it's important.
It's a facade.
Yeah, and also I think I became strong enough to accept when someone is willing to walk away from, and I didn't feel any less of myself.
From you being who you are.
Yeah, like I didn't feel any less of myself. I'm like, okay, no, that's cool. That's a decision that you've made. Yeah. Okay, I'm alright with that. Yeah. Because then I know who I am.
Right.
So it doesn't matter what the person thinks. Like you can walk away, I'm alright, go and live your life and do what you're supposed to. And that's why
I said to the women, and I guess it's the same for the men too, babe, where you have to know yourself. If you know that in this relationship, I am giving my best self, my true self. I'm not faking nothing. And the person doesn't seem to be impressed by you, or even, whatever it is. It just means anything else that you will be outside of yourself would be fake. Yeah. Do you really want that? How long can you keep that up for?
Because eventually, even in marriage, for example, what has ended up happening is that because of, us being real and raw at the start, even when you start life, there's nothing to be surprised by.
No.
Because you're still yourselves. What you said is what you are. And therefore, there's nothing to say.
What you had said.
This part you never disclosed.
You didn't tell me about the credit card.
So it's important for you to open up. But lastly, I think one thing I'd like to add.
Right.
Is that I've also seen us in a situation where someone has clearly stated their intention that they don't want to go ahead, and I've accepted it, but I'm still friendly towards them. But they are confusing my friendliness to still mean like I'm pursuing them, even after they've told me clearly.
Because women, we like a friendly guy.
They are not for it, because they are thinking that my friendliness. Like I'm not. I don't know how to define. Like I'm not getting out of, or rather, like I'm not getting what they're saying.
Oh,
does it make sense?
So they're still not interested, and they
are not interested, and they're assuming that you are being nice because you still want the same thing which they've told you don't want.
Okay.
And yet, like you said, it's you just being you. And I remember someone telling me to say, no, I told you AB, and I'm like, wait a minute. So are you thinking that my friendliness and it is to mean that maybe I want something more? And I clarified to say no, that is not what it is. And because of that, I stopped.
Cut off. Yeah. So I think for me, I want to leave this with anybody who's listening. These would be my kind of last comments on this episode. how do I deal with mixed signals? Sisters, 3 things I want to leave with you. And I don't know if the brothers will find this useful, but my husband may be able to let us know. 3 things, 3 scriptures. This is your framework, okay, on how to deal with mixed emotions. Mixed signals. I'll get it right one day. The Bible in Revelation chapter 3 verse 6 says, "Don't be lukewarm. Be either hot or cold, otherwise you will be spat out." So because you are lukewarm, and it says spiritually useless, and neither hot nor cold, I will vomit you out of my mouth. I will reject you with disgust. That's God speaking. So it's a very graphic scripture talking about the importance of making up your mind. Are you going to be cold or are you going to be warm? But you can't sit in the middle. You can't sit on the fence. Otherwise, you are rendered spiritually useless. So how do I deal with mixed signals? Mixed signals are relationally useless. They are not of any value. Just as being lukewarm is spiritually useless, so is a man or a woman who keeps giving mixed signals. They are relationally useless. You cannot, and I don't mean to insult anybody, but that state of being is it's relationally useless. You can't do anything with it. You can't rationalize with it. You can't love it. It can't love you back. It will be hot and cold, lukewarm. It needs to be a place of definition. Okay, so if you notice that you are in a situation or a relationship where somebody is lukewarm, have that conversation with them. Are they going to be hot? Are they going to be cold? What is this? Because anything that is lukewarm deserves spitting out because it's relationally useless.
Yeah.
Second scripture. I've got 3. This is number 2. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. I think it was in this episode or the last episode, my husband said, the Bible is so black and white. We complicate it. Let your yes be yes, your no be no. If I had started with this at the beginning of this episode, like I said, my answer to this is very cutthroat. We would have been finished in 2 seconds. So if you are in a situation or a relationship where somebody is dealing you with mixed signals, it means they don't have a definite yes and they don't have a definite no. It comes back to them sitting on the fence. And what you do with a person who sits on the fence is what God is doing to the person who is lukewarm. Spit them out. That's how you deal with it, period. The last one, third point, this is your framework for dealing with mixed signals. Not just for women, I think for men as well.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, and my last one before I let this amazing man speak. A double-minded person is unstable in all, not some, but all his ways. That's James chapter 1 verse 8. By the way, let your yes be yes and your no be no is Matthew 5:37. So that last scripture, a double-minded person. A person with mixed signals. They don't have a definite yes. You see, that person, the Bible in James 1 verse 8 says that person is unstable in all his ways. Not just one area or some areas. There is instability when somebody is double-minded. So how do you deal with somebody who's double-minded with their signals towards you? One day they want to be in a relationship, the next they don't. Spit them out. They are relationally useless. Up until now, till they figure it out. And they have to go away and figure what it is that they want without even you in the equation. You figure out what you want without them in the equation, so that when you do come together, you can be useful to each other in relation to each other. Because like our last episode, how will your love survive? How will that relationship survive? How will you serve each other if neither of you know what it is that you want and you're sitting on the fence? And so that very last scripture, I think, is so important to consider, ladies and gents. A double-minded person is unstable in all his ways. Don't think because he's got a good education, he looks strong, he's been serving in the church, or she does this, she does that, she looks the part. If she's giving mixed signals, it might be an indication that she's double-minded about you. And until he's certain, have nothing to do with her.
Fantastic. And for me, I would say that
or him.
Mixed signals will always lead to time wasting.
Yes.
If you go
Absolutely.
in a shop without knowing exactly what you want, you'll be looking at one product to the next and looking at the ingredients that are in the
shopping,
which is not even, so you'll find that whereas you could have just, if you know what you want, you can go straight to the product you want, pick it up and go out, which saves you a lot of time. But if you're undecided, you will go through the labels and trying to see which one is it, when does it expire, all those things that are not even necessary in making a decision. And then what you don't realize is that time is being wasted. So if somebody's giving you mixed signals, the chances are that your time is equally being wasted. So, And the Bible also says that can two walk together unless they are agreed? If you're sure and they are not, what are you doing together? You don't match. If you're sure and they are not, let them go until they are sure. If they are sure, they can come back, and now you can deal with both parties who are sure.
Yes,
if they're unsure, leave them to sort it out. Continue on a path searching for one who is sure. If they do come back and they're sure, well and good. But then you're not going on the hopes that they might come back. You're going on the fact that you're undecided and I'm decided. Therefore, I'm going with a decided position. We've already also stated that, number one, be clear with what you want. Do not be ashamed to communicate what you want. Mm-hmm. You're not going to look weak, but it's actual strength, because it saves you time. Yeah. While you think playing their game, might get you anywhere, it is wasting your time also. So in order for you to prevent wasting of time, be clear, communicate it. If they say, no, I'm not ready, I don't want marriage, take it as, okay, that's what you mean, and go and find somebody else. And
according to the Bible, being very straight to the point with what you want is exactly where you should be. It's not desperation. When somebody says, what do you want? And you want marriage, to say, I want marriage, looks like you've decided to be either hot or cold. You've decided not to be lukewarm. When you say you want marriage, it sounds like you've decided to let your yes be yes and your no be no. It sounds like you are not a double-minded person. You are very stable in your ways. And in fact, it says a double-minded person cannot receive anything from the Lord, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes, sisters, we are praying, God, I want to get married. But there is a double-mindedness to how we're approaching this thing. And it sometimes, not always, it might be the reason why we are not receiving the answer to our prayers, because God is thinking, well, what am I going to do with this? I'm not about to give you my son just so you can play these mixed signals with him. But
And also just to re-emphasize, every time you are around someone who is undecided, know that you are risking losing someone else who might be decided. Because that time that you're spending with the undecided person could be the time that is required for you to meet the person that is decided. That's why it's important for you to be clear with what you want. Just as it is okay for them not to want marriage, it is equally okay for you to want it. So nobody is right or wrong. So you don't want it, cool. I want it, cool.
Cool.
I'll go and find somebody else who wants it. You go and find somebody who doesn't want it.
It's not to make people bow to what you want. I love that. And thank you for pointing that out, because it reminds me of Ruth and Boaz, who I quoted earlier. If you know your Bible story, you know Boaz wasn't the one who was supposed to marry Ruth. There was an older brother who blatantly refused in front of the elders and said, no, I don't want her. She's gonna taint my inheritance. This is me paraphrasing. You marry her. So he didn't want Ruth. He didn't want anything to do with redeeming her and the land and redeeming the late brother's name. He was like, no, bruh, I'm out. You marry her. And so that is still okay. We need to be okay when people say, I don't want you, I want the other one.
Yeah. And it's maturity to be clear.
Absolutely.
It will save you a lot of heartaches, because by the time you're realizing, you find that you've spent 3 years with someone who actually didn't want to be with you. So
because I could imagine what Ruth would have been hearing all the days of her life had she married Boaz's older brother. I mean, the Bible doesn't
I didn't want
say
you. I was forced to be with you.
I was my culture forced me out. It was time to get married, and
And don't let someone ride on your certainty to say, I'm going to go because you are sure. So it's like we're going to ride on the fact that you are sure, but I'm not sure. It's like, no. If you are not, we're not going together. No, because then what will happen is
don't piggyback.
They will jump off quickly and say, no, it was not even my idea. You sold me into this. I didn't want it. I told you, I communicated, but you told me that this could, and now I got into it, and this is what's happening. So don't let anybody ride on your certainty. If they are not sure, leave them with the uncertainty until they are decided. If they are decided, then you can go together. As long as they are not decided, don't waste your time. There's loads out there, and don't put your emotions first. Put what you want clearly first. When it can be reciprocated, then you can involve your emotions. But then if you do the opposite, you fall first, you involve your emotions, then you want to involve reason afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you doing? You are yoking yourself to this emotion, to someone who actually you don't even know, and you haven't clarified your intention. So imagine being strongly tied to someone who then tells you, I don't want. After you've already tied yourself. Isn't that more,
it's more damaging.
It's more reasonable for you to say, let me hold on with what I feel. Tell me what you want, I'll tell you what I want.
Right.
Before we even start yoking yoking each other. Because the Bible says, can two walk together unless they be agreed? And so there's a yoking. When emotions are involved, you're yoking yourself to the other person. So before you add any yokes, just clarify, and if it's not the person, it will be easier for you to move to finding someone who's more suitable and who's ready to make that decision, and your life will be easy.
I just thought of a practical example that we can maybe leave with you today. The question has been, how do I deal with mixed signals? A signal is meant to indicate when you should move or when you should stop. Every person that's going to come across this episode lives somewhere or has been exposed to a car and some traffic lights, right? Red, orange, green. We all know what that means. Green means go, red means stop, orange, approach with caution, which is why sometimes when the lights are orange, you see a car, whoop, because orange doesn't necessarily mean stop. It just means you can go, but approach with caution. There might be somebody else who's, trying to cross at the same time. When those signal lights are not working properly, i.e., you come at a crossroad and this side is showing green, this side is showing green at the same time.
Or let's say
there's going to be
confusion.
There's going to be a confusion.
Yeah.
So in the fashion that traffic lights are designed, this is meant to stop and that's meant to say go, so that there's clear pathway. There's a clear indication of, okay, this is what I'm doing now. But when the signals are mixed, when the signals are giving the same signal
at the same
time,
it's
and
red,
it
green, and yellow at the same time.
What do you do? Are you going? Are you stopping? What? If you've ever been at a traffic light that isn't working, it's been showing red for the longest time, you begin to think, what is going on?
Yeah.
The same is in relationships. Why are you stalling? 3 years you've been dating, 4, 5 years, 6, 7. There needs to be, and you could be 7 years and both of you agree that that's okay, fine, kudos to you, but not where one of you has really been wanting to get married in year 1 and you're sticking around because he's giving mixed signals one day he's going to change or vice versa. Yeah. It's going to cause a clash. And there's going to be some casualties there, really, really bad, because these signals need to be so clear so that people know when to drive, when to stop, and when to approach with caution. So I leave you with that. We leave you with that.
We'll leave you with that. And I hope that you stop playing with mixed signals. Otherwise, you end up mixed.
I love it.
That's the consequence, right?
He said... You will end up mixed. I love it.
You won't even know what happened to you.
Yeah.
You will think, I was once ready, but I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. I'm not now ready. Single. Even me, I'm...
Anyway, with that said, appreciate it. We'll see you in the next episode.